My name's Christine Baze, and I was diagnosed with invasive cervical cancer with extensive lymphatic invasion at 31 after a history of normal Pap tests. And it blew me out of the water. It knocked me down. I had a hysterectomy. I had another surgery, 5 weeks of daily pelvic radiation, 4 rounds of chemo, and 3 rounds of internal radiation. And I was 31 singing my songs, living my life. I was like, felt like my whole future was in front of me, and then I was knocked down and I didn't understand why it happened to me, and so I educated myself, and what I learned was that cervical cancer is actually a preventable cancer. And I was like, what do you mean it's preventable? Like, the Pap test measures what? And I learned about the Pap and how important it is to get the very best Pap that's out there. And I learned about HPV, the human papillomavirus, the virus that causes cervical cancer, and that there was an HPV test, a DNA test, that can let you know whether or not you're carrying the virus. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool, so how come women aren't talking about it? And so I decided to have a concert. I called it Pop Smear, pop music and Pap smears. And I got these rock and rollers to come, and Dr. Cox and Dr. Duska, like these people who are very influential in the cervical cancer world, to come up and say, yo, this is what HPV is and this is what's going on. And people listened, and the media picked it up, and I was in papers and TV and magazines, and I was like, wow, this really works. So I decided to continue the message, and that's where I decided to do the Yellow Umbrella organization, because the concept for me of the Yellow Umbrella is about bringing people together under one roof to accomplish something great. And in this case, it's specifically about cervical cancer, because we do know what causes it, this virus. We do have screening tools with the Pap and the HPV test, and now we're fortunate enough to have this vaccine, an HPV vaccine. So what I do is I just go around and I just be like, hi, I'm Christine, let me sing you a song and let me tell you what you can do to save the hooch. Because keeping the cervix smiling is possible. Nobody has to go through what I went through, or worse, lose their life to this disease. And it's like, I feel like the more we talk about it, the more we say something, the more lives we are going to save. And if we use all of these tools, I firmly believe in my lifetime we can eliminate this cancer, and that is my goal. And I'm just going to keep at it and keep singing it until it's gone. No matter what your age, there is something that you can do to prevent cervical cancer. And so if for young women, it's all about this vaccine, the HPV vaccine for women 9 to 26. Once you're 21, by the time you're 21, you should always be going in for a Pap test, and you should never blow off your Pap. People are like, oh, the Pap's so invasive. I'm like, no, what's invasive is a hysterectomy. You know, and then for the other tool, it's a HPV test, and that's for women 30 and up. So a lot of moms are excited about the vaccine, and they're like, yay, let's go get my daughter the vaccine, and they're blowing off themselves. They don't even know that an HPV test exists for them. So 30 and up, HPV test. Young women, never blow off your Pap. 9 to 26, go get that HPV vaccine. My website is theyellowumbrella.org, and I also have another website called say-something.org, which has a toolkit that you can download, and you can access the materials yourself, and you can go out and share the message with others, like in this very friendly, kind of fun, crazy way. There's also the National Cervical Cancer Coalition. There's also the Gynecologic Cancer Foundation. There's the Women's Health Forum. A lot of different groups are taking on this issue as it's become more popular. And that, again, is my goal, is to work with not only patients, but doctors and advocates and industry and government, because it's going to take all of us to work together to take care of this disease, and I believe we can do it.